What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So it's time to share with all our tips and tricks for the team of the season so far, objectives, and really subjectives in general, how to do the dribbling, how to do the tackling, how to score with different players. What are the things you can do to make sure you hit all those goals? One of the things you got to do, though, is overdo it. Every time we do the passing one, we hit like 150 passing. But I do want to know, what is your highest passing that you have ever done in that challenge? I think ours was like 130 something that we ended up doing because we really just kind of overdo it there. But we'll show you all the tips and tricks, everything you got to do to make sure you can master every single objective. Since we don't got that kind of bar along the way, what are the best ways found to dribble? What are the best ways we found to be able to hit 10 tackles no matter what your team is and everything like that? Let's get into it. Let's start the action. I do want to go through and just talk about all the different ways to do all of these challenges because I feel like some of them people are having some difficulty with. So this one, just scoring with a midfielder, is not so bad. The Liverpool match is a little tough. One thing to always keep in mind when you play these matches is that penalties count. And also the other thing to keep in mind is if you need to go to extra time in matches where extra time is allowed, just score on yourself if you need to, anything like that, to keep it going, because then you get extra time that you can play with. I'm going to show you how to do. Okay, so this is the one that people are having some trouble with. 3-0 up in the first half. So 3-0 up in the first half. So you don't have to worry about scoring in this game, which is nice. But what makes this game challenging is getting all of the tackles. So what I found the best way to do the tackles is as soon as you get the ball, you have two choices of basically giving it back to them easy. So you can see I even have a high overall squad. So one of them is just kick it out of bounds. As soon as you get the ball, kick it out of bounds, and then run to try and get the player and try and tackle it. A lot of times too, I find auto playing it is easy. You just don't actually use it, just hold it as the tackle with there, and then you can go through there. So again, just do that tackle there. I don't know if when you foul them if it counts. I haven't actually played around with that too much, but again, you can go in, get the tackle there. The other thing you can do is you can just not put any buttons on it and just run into the player. So if I just kind of go along and then just sort of regularly move along, I should be able to lose the ball just by running into the player. So if I run into them, they're usually able to take that ball back from me. So even though I have some of the highest cards you can have in the game, it still works to do that. So that's another way that you can get tackles, get the ball away really easily. So either kick it out of bounds, or dribble into the other players, or you could clear it. That's another way you can do it. And then as you get close, hit the tackle button. If you want to do slide tackles, you could try that as well too, but I just find going up to them, tap the tackle button as they get there to make sure it registers as a tackle, and then you're going to get there. So when we go through this is sort of my strategy of doing it again. Go through it. If you take off the controller, sometimes it's easier. Get the ball, kick it out of bounds, and because this is the game where we don't get to see, I really wish they added the feature to show you how many you've done, because I don't mind the objectives if you knew what you had to do, and you knew how much you had to do with it, and how much you had left and stuff like that. But the one thing you really need to be careful of here is if you're doing the objectives, make sure that you overdo it. So do it as many times as you can. Just keep doing it because you don't want to miss out on one. I would say we've already done 10. But I'm still going to keep going with this, and every time I get it, I'm just going to rush through to them. So again, give it back to him, run through him, take that tackle, take a free kick. I'm assuming it still counts as free kicks. I don't know. I haven't been counting how many I have, so we'll see. But they don't always seem to register. They might not always just count as tackles. I don't really know what the reasoning for it is, or if maybe I just don't do it properly. But in any event, kick it out of bounds. Once it's out of bounds, it gives the ball back to the other team. Let them throw it into their own teammate. And the problem is and the reason why you need to do it this way is because it's really hard you can't pass it to the other team. So if your strategy is try and pass it to the other team, if there's another player, even if I aim towards my own players, it's a lot of times it's hard to get it to the other team. So there you go. Again, rush. If I try this again, you can do it that way, but it's not the easiest to pass it to them when you're trying to do that. So there you go. Go through a Cannavaro again. And the other thing is if you're trying to kick it out of bounds, full power it out of bounds. So you notice there, when I do it, I don't just kind of tap pass to get it out of bounds. I actually full power it out of bounds. So if I go full power to put it out of bounds so that you make sure you get it out. You get it out as quickly as possible. And that's how you're going to do it. So if you're struggling with the 10 tackles, this should hopefully help you. If I don't get 10 tackles here, though, I don't even know, because we've done this a million times. Okay, and then I'll try and pass it to Zaha here. But see, again, it likes to just give it to the other, to your own team when you do it. It's trying to help you, I guess, play better. But in doing that has sort of, you know, mixing things up. So on free kicks, you could try just putting it to the other players, but again, it's hard to do because you just throw it out of bounds when you do it. So I don't think, like, I know, like, you know, you can play around with your team, your overall, those kind of things. I don't think you need to necessarily do that. You just want to try and make sure that you're using some of these strategies to give the ball back, and then that will allow you to get the ball and get your tackles. So again, we kick it up, we give it to the player, we try and give them some time to do it. Also, a lot of times, if you can run down the wing, the problem is what they like to do sometimes is this. They'll like pass it up. So they do these big balls that they're going with, and try and like launch it down the field, which is not really helpful for getting tackles on them. So again, sometimes you got to get a bit lucky, but that's where just the more times and the more opportunities you have to try and do it. And I also just like spam the tackle button, right? Spam the tackle button on them. You know, hit the button every single time you do it. Try and give myself one more time. So I'm going to kick it out again, try and get it one more time. Okay, we don't get another chance, but this should hopefully work. If this is not a success, then there's something very wrong with how many times they've counted it, because that was definitely 10. There you go. We got 11. See, but what I mean, like, I really felt like I was way more over 10, and we only got 11. But that's how you do it. That's my strategy for doing it. Hopefully that helps you get it if you're having some struggle. This is the player pack. Let's see what we get in our player pack. We get a 71, a 71, and a 74. Wow. Terrible. All right, the passes. The passes is actually a fairly easy one. When you're doing the passes, all you have to do, well, first of all, you gotta get the goals first. Getting the goals is usually the easiest way to do it, and then just make sure you go like over the top with your passes. So we get the goals. Preferably you get the goals earlier in it. If you're worried about getting the goals, like you're in the 80th minute, maybe don't score and take it to extra time. That's a good way to do it. But if you're doing this and you don't get the goal early enough, like you can go to extra time with them. But if you have enough time to get it early, it's probably better to do it early as we go through. And Adama gets it in. No, we're going to corner it though. You have to get the ball back after you score the goal, and then you got to get the passes off. But the passes don't take that long. So here, we're in the 63rd minute. Now all you have to do is get the ball back and then just pass it around your defense, and then just keep passing it around your defense. So get your ball back, pass it back to your defense. And one thing I found you can do too is just go like back and forth one-touch passes. So you can just kind of do back and forth, just move your skill stick back and forth and just tap it for some one-touches. And you can really go quickly this way. So if you really want to do like fast passes, that's a way that you can kind of do it. Just kind of keep flicking your stick back and forth as you go through it. And then just pass it back and forth. Pass it. And never think that you've passed enough. The key to all of these is never think that you've done it enough. Once you think you've done it enough, you are wrong. You need to do at least 130 to pass their challenge when you need to do 30. That's the key. There is no such thing as beating a challenge too much when it comes to FIFA Mobile, because for all you know, they counted every 15th one that you did. Got it. 146! I also want to hear it. What is your record for passes in this? What is your record for passes? I think 146 is my highest. I think that's my highest that I've ever gotten. Okay, here we go. We got 3 of the 2 goals we needed. Time to get this done. How many needed to get this done? Let's go. Big pull, big pull. Show me the purple, 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 purple. Purple, no! And not even animated. That was our worst global team pull that we've gotten so far. No tiebreaker, second half. These ones are tough. These ones are tough because you have to do it so quickly to get it done. Okay, and remember, whenever you do this, whenever you're in a position where you get a win and it's something that's so close, like if they score on you, they win, always get it back and just pass it around the defense. Pass it around the defense. And this one, tiebreaker and score a brace. So this one had been some questions about what a brace is. Getting a brace is just scoring 2 with the same player. So if you're trying to do the brace one, what you want to do is just score 2 with the same player. So Overmars will, I don't know, pick a player that you can score 2 goals with easily, I guess. But you have lots of time to do it. Like, you have the entire game to do it. So it shouldn't be too difficult to do. So Overmars gets our first goal, which means we need a second goal with Overmars to complete the brace challenge. This is tough because you have to score 1 goal using a defender, 30 passes, and you're 2-0 down. But remember that the tiebreaker, we got penalties after, so tying it is probably your, that should be your first priority, and then do the passes. You don't necessarily need to get to a win because you can beat them in extra time. And defenders count. Oh my goodness, Firmino gets it. Okay, that was unexpected. That was unexpected for that to be hard. So your one choice is you get it from the corner. Your other choice is going to be wait till PKs, and you get it after PKs. So stopping this first rush is really important with that. Get your 2 goals. It doesn't need to be with the defenders, because if you take it to penalties, then you're going to get the opportunity to score it with your defender. So when you're going in, don't worry about scoring the goal with the defender. Worry about getting the goal with the defender when you go to penalties, or do it after. So first thing you want to do is just get 2 goals. Don't worry about one of those being. Otherwise, it's too hard to get all the passes and the other things in. Same thing to be said with the other one in the community one. When you're doing the community one, to do the dribbles, what you want to do is you just want to roulette and go past the defender that way. So we would go roulette it, and then you go past the defender. So Rush is going to get this. Oh my goodness, that's the biggest foul I've ever seen. And then we hope that it doesn't glitch out. Puts it in, there you go. Okay, we got our 2 goals. I guess you could pick someone that has really good free kick on defense too, or lower your overalls there. But I think your best option is honestly to go to penalty shootouts, and then just wait for the penalty shootout to get as far as it needs to go. So our first focus has got to be now getting the passes, or if you're doing the community one, do the dribbles. If you're trying to do your dribbles, what you want to do, you can roulette it to go past the defender. So you do a quick roulette. Once you do the roulette, you pass it as soon as you get past them. So it's a roulette and pass, and that will count as 1 dribble for you as you go through. At least that's what worked for me. It's kind of weird. It seems to just not always work when you do it, but that's how we ended up getting our dribbles done if you want to do it. So you just kind of roulette, go past it. Be careful when you're passing it back and forth, not to pass it to the other team. I've done that. And we go through. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, one of the things to do here is if you don't get your player, like if you get a lead and you need to miss it, you can very easily miss a shot by swiping as hard as you can, like basically straight to the left or straight to the right. So if your defenders don't come up right away, you can still miss shots on purpose if you do end up saving a shot. Because you don't want to accidentally save a shot and not miss your shot on purpose. So if you try and do that, but here, I'll show you what I mean. So if I want to miss, I just go straight to the right. I just swipe straight right, and then you'll put it right out of bounds. So if you're trying to do it, that's how you can put it wide if you need to put it wide. And then you just have to hope that you don't save this last one. So this is part of the problem. You got to make sure you don't miss this last one, so that they still get it, because you go first. I didn't realize that you went first. Okay, then Petit goes for it. So it gets a little bit nerve-wracking now because you are the first one. I don't know why I thought Liverpool was the first one. They just don't like going down the middle. Down the middle, down the middle, down the middle! Yes! Finally, I would say 90% of the time when they stutter step, they go down the middle. So there you go. Donnarumma finally makes the big save. Liverpool watches back in that one. And there you have it. 92 passes, 5 goals with defenders, and we won because of the penalty shots. So you can see penalty shots count as there is one of the things you can do with it. So we finally got that one. Finishing that off. Let's go. Finish this off. Get ourselves this logo and the Hazard keys. That's what I want. That's what I really want to see, is the Hazard keys. Here we go. EPL logo. 1 Hazard key gives us an extra key on there so we can go further along. And that is the next chapter complete. And that's how you do it. So thank you for checking this out. It's been a pleasure as always. Stopde.